everybody. Welcome to the Otakucast Postshow.
Postshow. The show after the show.
Episode 12. We probably should start numbering these when we, episode 12, Postshow. I don't know. Should we?
People know.
Yeah, fair enough.
Y'all know.
Today we are here to talk about Howl's Moving Castle, which is Howl is another one of my favorite daddies throughout time.
It's Studio Ghibli at its Ghibliest.
It is. It really is. And look, I took way too many notes on. I've seen it 100 times, and I still took way too many notes on this movie.
Why do you need notes?
Because
Howl's Moving Castle.
Look, I like the movie. I don't know. Because I realized while I was watching this, as there's still a lot of questions unanswered in this movie. Like watching it and from an analyzer point of view.
I don't feel like there's a lot left unanswered. Because they don't...
Can we get a Howl's Moving Castle 2 when Turnip Head comes back? Okay, well, hold on. We'll get to that.
I don't think they don't need answers. Like, not...
So, how is this world? There's like wizards, and there's also a war going on right now.
Well, yes, because of a missing prince.
A missing prince, exactly. And there's it's called Howl's Moving Castle. He's a wizard with a castle that moves. Really complex title there. And so we have some main characters. We have Howl, our wizard. We have our protagonist, which her name is Sophie. I forgot her name for a minute. She works in a hat shop with her family, and her mom.
No, her sister works at a bakery.
Yeah,
her mom runs the hat shop, and she works at the hat shop because it was her dad's.
Yes, she works at the hat shop because her dad. And then her mom's really flighty. She's like working on her like third marriage now. Really fancy woman. Her sister's also like pretty fancy, very pretty. Sophie's very plain. She's brown haired. She's very quiet. Well, she's mousy. If you're reading like a 90s teenage novel, she's very mousy.
I don't find her mousy. She just seems like she's just plain, and she seems to be just that type of... Yeah, you would just define her as she's a very plain girl. I wouldn't say she's mousy because that's like sort of different. A different kind of descriptor.
She's plain and she's quiet, and she's just happy to work on hats and just kind of be in the background. Well, until one night.
Yeah, but like mousy is nervous, shy, or timid, or she's not really that.
Okay, you're right. I'll give you that. You're right. Okay.
So she's not really mousy, but she
is outspoken when it comes to certain things, which we see in the movie.
Yes.
She seems to almost be bolder when she gets cursed to look like an old woman. If you haven't seen the movie at this point, what's wrong with you? Stop watching. Go watch this movie. It's amazing. It's my favorite Ghibli movie. I love it. And DC even loves it. So
it's a Ghibli film. I love
But anyway, in the world, I have steampunk everywhere. Also a donkey in my notes, because you do see a donkey wandering the streets along with all these other steampunks. Like, we get this little, before the story actually starts, we see like a little bit of a setup. We see Sophie walking through a back alley, and some soldiers are like, "Hey, where are you going?" And they start, like harassing her. And then this blonde handsome stranger comes along with his magic finger and and whisks them away. And then because of Howl's involvement they're followed by... Ghibli loves his black goop. We've said it before. We say it again.
They just love goop.
They love the goop. I think it's because they're showing off how well they animate things, because there's these goopy things that chase him around the city for a little while. And then he drops her back off at the top of the bakery. Is it the bakery or the hat shop?
This is Angel summaries, so it can go on for a while.
No, I'm not doing this. I was just discussing like the world, and what started everything was in fact Howl's involvement. And anyway, so she's followed when the story actually kicks up, and like it all starts, but you know what I mean? The reason...
it happens immediately afterwards, because
the
Witch of the Waste shows up at the hat shop because
Sophie's like, Sophie was closed.
Well, Sophie was with Howl, so Witch of the Waste is like, you were with Howl. Curse, old lady.
She curses Sophie to be an old lady, but the curse makes it so she can't talk about being cursed.
Yeah.
So pretty much, you can't talk about being cursed. packs up and goes on this journey to go out and find the Witch of the Waste to try
Yeah,
to get
to
her
get
revert.
to get herself turned back to normal.
Yes,
Um, she meets the turnip head scarecrow, is what he's
the
called, on
scarecrow
her
with
way.
turnip head.
Uh,
She
turnip.
saved him from
She's
a bush.
like, I'm moving forward.
I know,
So
but I'm
she
just
meets
saying,
turnip
like,
head.
why they even did anything is because she saved Turnip Head from a bush, and then he helps her find Howl's Moving Castle. That's what I was gonna
Yes,
say, Mister Jerkface McGee.
yes. So that's what moves it along. Then we get introduced to Calcifer, voiced by in the dub Billy Crystal,
Did you
which he does a
actually
fantastic.
watch the dub?
Yeah, I always watch Ghibli and dub.
You should. But
It's
anyway,
just Ghibli's
and
just better in dub most of the time.
Calcifer is, I love Calcifer. He's just a little
Yes,
fire demon.
Calcifer
He
is
hangs out. You find more about him later, but he hangs out in
yes.
house cars. And
He controls the castle.
Sophie pretty much bullies him into accepting her as a cleaning
Yeah.
lady.
So
And
because they're both
Calcifer's
going to work to get the curses removed.
yes, Calcifer has a curse on him with Howl. He literally says, "If you can undo this thing with Howl and I can undo your curse." And
Yeah.
so she pretty much becomes a cleaning lady. And then we
Yes.
also meet Merkel.
Next morning,
No, what's the kid's name? Why did I just forget it? Not is it Merkel?
I do not believe it is Merkel.
It's something like that.
I will get up a
Whatever.
cast.
That does. It's not quite that nerdy. It's a name in that similar vein. But
So his it's
Howl's little
it's
assistant,
Marky. Markle.
Markle.
Or
That's
Marakuru. So
Marakuru,
Mark. His name is technically supposed to be Mark.
but it's
Um
Markle in the dub.
yeah.
And she also convinces Calcifer to cook breakfast for them.
Yeah. So
And it's very cute. Like Hal comes
yeah.
in, like, "Oh, Calcifer, you're being so obedient." He's like, "She made me. She
Yeah.
forced me to be obedient."
So the basically the house is a mess, and Sophie says like, "Oh, I'm here as the cleaning lady. That's my new job." And Howl does Howl stuff where he just kind of like, meh, whatever, flighty person
Well, he's
who,
also
yeah,
disappearing into the void to
yeah.
go
He
fight.
keeps he
And
keeps
then
getting he keeps getting letters to be summoned because he has like 3 names.
pretty
He's
much
also
being drafted for the military as the Wizard Jenkins, the Wizard forget the Great Wizard Jenkins, the Wizard something, and then he also has his identity as Howl. So he's getting drafted
yeah
by 2 different militaries to show up to the castle to report. And come to find out that pretty much he doesn't know what to do. If he goes to see Sullivan, which is pretty much like the magic lady of the
Sullivan.
king, Solomon,
Not yeah, not
then
Sullivan. Sullivan. Yeah, he
Solomon
sends Sophie to do it as his mother. Yeah,
because
you're my mom.
he
Go do
says
it.
just Pendragon was the other one. Pendragon. You can go
Yes,
and tell him you're Pendragon's
Pendragon.
mom and her son's a miserable
Too
coward.
afraid and too afraid to go. So they send her off. She runs. She's like, Hal's like, oh, I'll be behind you in disguise, and she runs into this
Dog.
dog. She thinks
He thinks
the
it's
dog
a
is
dog.
Howl.
The dog's name is
Um,
Keen, by the way.
it's what?
Keen.
Yeah, weird name.
I know.
Uh,
But you find out that Solomon's not falling for it the whole time. And there's like this thing where the Witch of the Waste was also
I was
summoned.
gonna say they run into the Witch of the Waste. The Witch of the Waste loses her henchmen because no vehicles, and she's just like big and gloopy because she like can't manage to get up these stairs. But it was really a trap to remove the Witch of the Waste's magic.
Yeah, it was a trap. But Witch of the Waste pretty much is very, very, very old. She's used magic to augment her form and,
Yeah,
it be very abundant. So she's very
she
overweight.
she
And
pretends to be senile as well.
yeah, but anyway, so Solomon takes her magic. She wants to take Howl's, but doesn't work that way. And
Yeah.
then, because Sophie's this whole time believing that the dog is Howl,
Howl, but
and
it's not.
the dog actually works for Solomon. And then I love this part because Howl said that he would be watching,
Yeah,
and they're sitting there, and then all of a sudden the king comes in, and he's very prim and proper and
yeah.
dresses.
He's like, oh, I've decided I'm not going to use wizards and blah blah blah. And she's like, oh, King, you're so well spoken today. And then the king just comes in and he's like, "Come on, I drew up some war plans.
Solomon!
They're great. We're gonna beat them down. Oh yeah." And he's just like,
He
"Oh, that's
reminds me of like a Southern American, like
like
Kentucky,
I don't. I got like
boisterous, loud.
I got if what's his name? J. Jonah Jameson was nice.
There you go. And then he sees Howl as his double. He's like, "That's the best one you made yet, Solomon. Keep it up."
Yeah. Ha ha. And he just leaves. And
Solomon's
yeah.
like, "Thanks for joining us, Howl."
So let's
Then
get
they
to
do
the
the thing where
meat
they
of this
flee the
though.
castle, and
Yeah.
anyway.
The meat of this though, after these events, the war is happening, things go bad, and it's a constant, like, Hal is going off to fight, and Sophie's trying to stop him, and things just get worse and worse and worse.
Because
And
people are dying.
yeah, but I really want to talk about
Now,
this
mind you,
key thing.
every time that Howl fights, he like transforms into like some
Yeah,
big steel bird
and
creature.
he's slowly losing his humanity.
Yes, he is.
Which there was a discussion about these monsters that came out of the plains, which were wizards that turned themselves into monsters to fight the king's war, but they won't be able to turn themselves back. They're stuck that way now, and
Mhm,
so there's a lot going on in this movie. But what I love about it is that everything that's brought up has a payoff.
mhm,
Like everything has a payoff, and like because they bring up Howl's ability to transform into a monster, and then boom, they discuss the wizards that went to the place turned into monsters. So,
mhm,
and you get that they'll lose their humanity, they won't remember they were ever human, and with Howl being transformed throughout the movie, you understand the stakes of what could happen to him.
mhm. And you
And
even
so,
see sometimes Calcifer's like, "You've gone too far this time,
yeah,
Howl." This one time he comes back and he's like kind of
bleeding and
transparent and
yeah,
bleeding, and his footprints are monster footprints.
and
And
yeah,
anytime like Sophie sees him, also when Sophie sleeps, her curse is reversed. And
yeah,
also there's points during the movie where she'll get younger and older depending on what's going on, but she
her
doesn't really.
emotional state.
Yeah. Like there's this one scene where she sees Howell is in a great amount of pain, great amount of stress. She like goes to him and helps him. She takes him up the stairs to give him a bath, and she's like
Well,
younger at that point, and the towel
it's
falls off. Very cute.
no, when that happens, she's old.
That's right. He was throwing a
Yeah.
temper tantrum at that
It
point
was
because
before
his
that
hair
she had like
at
a
the wrong
dream,
color.
because she had a weird dream where she was younger. But yeah.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to talk about the main thing I really love about this movie. I complain about, like, and nothing happens for a while in a lot of the movies because they're trying to do what Howl's Moving Castle does. Every scene has a point.
Hmm.
You might not think it does, but every scene
And you asked me
develops
why I
the
took so
character.
many notes because every scene in this movie
Yeah, but we
has
don't need
a
to
point.
discuss all of everything.
No, no,
But yes,
we'd be here longer than the movie is to sit
that
here
is what I
discussing all the scenes.
yeah, that is what I like about it though, is that in scenes where no action's going on and it's just like a character moment, it's not there. Like I want to bring up a movie that tried to do it, which is The Princess and the Pilot. They tried to have a character moment, but the thing is that nothing came from that character moment. No one changed.
Nope.
But in Howl's Moving Castle, the character moments show you the change that the characters start off with Sophie, who is insecure, uh unconfident, you know, just reserved kinda.
Like, look,
And
compare and also I don't think she thinks she's very pretty. We kind of
well,
see
that's what
that
I
as
mean.
a yeah,
Insecure and
yeah.
unconfident.
But I
But
can understand her thinking that compared to her sister and her mother,
well,
who are both like
they
covered in
okay.
makeup and they're blondes
Yes,
and
that is the thing you can discuss, is that in all honesty, makeup is what creates the beautiful kind of woman, but most women don't look like that naturally. You don't have blue underline and giant red lips. That's all makeup, and it can change a lot. Like, have you seen those makeup tutorials where girls will be like,
mhm,
"What makeup can do?" and it's just a completely
one
different
side of the
person.
face to the other side.
Yeah,
I don't think
makeup's
that
amazing
much
at that.
into it, but do you think I've got a pimple here on my chin? You can barely see thanks to
Yeah,
makeup and
makeup.
makeup.
And so,
And
but
I've
Sophie
got
is a
more freckles. These are all
yeah,
red cheeks here. Just do you see a little bit? Looks intentional? No,
but yeah,
no. But
Sophie is very pretty, and like, she is very pretty. I wouldn't say like she's beautiful, but she's pretty, and she
she has
doesn't see that in herself. Yeah,
a
she doesn't.
natural prettiness to
She doesn't
herself.
see that in herself. And Howl starts off as like a coward and selfish, and like full of
He's
himself,
blue-haired, blue-eyed, blonde-haired,
blonde hair.
blue-haired.
But what I
Just
love, yeah,
he has this
Sophie,
really
like,
showy cloak
yeah,
too.
the whole scene you were talking about when he had that breakdown is because Sophie cleaned the bathroom and mixed the
Mhm.
potions, like organized them, and it caused his hair to change colors. And
It
he's like,
was orange.
there's no point in living if I'm not
Yeah,
beautiful.
Howl's
And
very self-centered.
yeah, it becomes all goopy and summons the spirits of darkness. But
And
that's yeah, he's self-centered. He's
Marco's like, "I've only
self-absorbed.
seen this once before when a girl broke up with him."
Yeah, when a girl dumped him.
But
But
did you notice
my
Sophie had no fear of him at that point? That was really
yeah,
something that shows off Sophie's character. There was 2 points to that scene, showing off the kind of person Sophie was and the kind of person Hal was,
it,
because that was close
yeah,
to the beginning of the movie.
yeah,
And
it
then
showed off her insecurities as well because she's like not everyone was beautiful to begin with.
I've never
And
been beautiful once in my
yeah,
whole life, she
yeah,
yells at him, and she has a little bit of a breakdown too.
yeah, and then
And then
she like
she
pulls
musters
herself
herself
together. Yeah,
and goes to Hal. That's
but
the kind of person Sophie is.
that's what I love about this movie though, is every scene had development. Something was shown, something was developed. And these characters, where they start off is not where they end up.
Mm,
Like, they both bring out the best in the other.
yeah.
Howl makes Sophie self-assured, self-confident.
Sophie,
She's
Sophie, you're beautiful. Your hair, it
yeah.
looks like it's been kissed by starlight. And
Your
she
hair looks like
smiles.
starlight, yeah. And that's what I love, is because Sophie becomes self-assured, like realizes, her own beauty, and like she's confident in the end. And Howl becomes selfless and learns to
There's this whole
be
thing where he flies off. He knows, like he changes all of the
yeah,
whole entire castle. Like this part was kind of sad. He has this
yeah.
moment, and then he changes the whole castle to suit not only Sophie but
But
also
the Witch of the
the
Waste,
Witch of
who's
the
now
Waste,
there, is the crazy
because
old
she's
lady. And
crazy old lady. She's harmless now.
yeah,
Well, not entirely harmless for what she does to Calcifer later, but that was a plot
yeah.
device.
But
But and then
it
the
also had a
bombs start
point.
striking, and then he's like, "Look,
Well,
I'm gonna go keep us
here
safe." And he goes,
before that though, I do want to discuss. He changed the castle for Sophie. He created a field of flowers for Sophie.
well,
He
made a portal to the Field of
yeah,
Flowers.
but for her, that was his childhood home.
That was for
But
her.
he specifically did the flowers for her. That's what he
Mhm.
said.
And
But
he was setting up for if he died because he was
he
intending to leave
also he
and go
also
fight.
made a courtyard, a house with a courtyard, and a shop, and that shop was a hat shop.
And he also said, "Oh, you could also do a flower shop if you wanted to
Yeah,
because of the flowers here."
yeah,
And she's like, "It sounds like you're going to leave." And then he just
yeah.
kind of brushed over it because he was
But
setting them up when he did leave because he was
yeah, but
intending he might not come
you
back.
notice though, he set up that hat shop for her because
That's what I said.
Howell knew who she was. He knew exactly
Hmm.
who Sophie was. He
Hmm.
knew it was that girl that he had met. And like
I'm sure
throughout the
he knew the
movie,
first time he laid
yeah.
eyes on her
But throughout the
that he
movie,
knew.
he peeks on her. Like when she's sleeping, he looks at her sleeping and checks
Mhm.
in on her to make sure she's okay.
Sleeping in a closet, mind you, when we
Yeah.
first started, because
Yeah,
that was
that's
the
how
only
she
place that
starts.
had room.
And then like the first day the Witch of the Waste is there, she's sleeping on the floor and the witch
Mhm,
is in the closet. But
mhm.
just how this movie goes, where it ends, and how the characters develop. Like you find out that uh, the turnip head scarecrow is the missing prince, and at the end of the movie, he sacrifices himself to save all of them by like they're sliding down this
They're
cliff,
sliding down a hill
and he
because
like stands in front of it.
this will be
The
the first
castle
one.
breaks
Real quick
apart. Yeah,
summary: the castle was breaking because Sophie was trying to disconnect it from the place they were in, so that way Hal did not have to defend it anymore. Hal did
yeah,
not have to risk his life. The Witch of the Waste realizes that Calcifer does
is
have
Hal's
Hal's
heart.
heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has Hal's heart. And you see the little flashback when they first met. The demons would fall and then they like
Well,
died. But in a
here's the thing
way,
about this. Here's the thing about this. Its stars were falling because Calamon said, "Foolish boy who consumed a falling star and lost his heart."
but he didn't just like eat a he held the star in his hand and you see Sophie remembering and she has a conversation he has a
Well,
conversation with
she
him and
didn't
then
remember. She went through the
oh
black
yeah she went
spot.
to the back.
There's
Did
four
you notice
colors. The
this
black
like
one is
how
like
remember me in the future? I
yeah,
remember I know how to help you. I wonder
yeah.
if that's the reason why Hal just accepts Sophie as who she is. As soon as he heard the name Sophie, he's like, ah, this is the one. Somehow she's gonna help me.
Well, yeah,
I
he
don't
might
know.
because he
We don't
saw
know.
her, but
Yes.
uh,
But anyway,
because
so the
the
witch,
scarecrow's the
yeah,
witch grabs the heart. She goes on fire because it's a fire demon. So Sophie splashes them with water to put it out. That weakens Hal's heart. That causes everything to fall apart.
Turnip Head, they fall
Yeah,
down this cliff. Turnip Head saves him, breaks his back pole, and then she's like,
breaks his
"Oh,
pole. Yeah.
well, yeah, we'll get you new." After everything was done, she's like, "Well, I'm so sorry. Thank you for helping us. We'll get you a new pole." She kisses him. He's the
Yeah,
missing prince. He's the prince that they're fighting about.
yeah. He turns back to normal, and the witch is like, "Oh, I've seen that curse. That's the curse that true love's kiss breaks." And she's like, "It's just a shame your true love's in love with another." And he's just like, "Well, you know what? Feelings change, and after I stop this war, I'll be back." And I'm
That's
like, you
I
know
want
what?
a
Props
house
to
moving
him.
castle too, where he it's probably
I
not going to be as good.
I
No,
don't. I know it wouldn't be as good because
but
everything paid off at the
can
end.
we just appreciate that the prince recognized that she loved Howl, and
Yes,
he
and
wasn't
he
like, "I shall duel you for her heart," because it
no,
wasn't.
he
It's
was just
not
like
gonna work.
feelings can change. We'll see. Like he was like, I'm gonna shoot my shot still. I'm gonna try at least, and I give him
He's
props for
like,
that.
"I'll
He's like,
find you again after
yeah,
I stopped the
but
war." Which got to give Nas
yeah.
Prince that's the thing to do.
Well, that's what I love about this movie though. Is the war started because of the missing prince. The
Hmm.
prince breaks his curse, and he's like, I'm gonna go off to end this senseless war, because it
Yep.
was. And so yeah, because of that, the dog like informs the prince the
Somehow
royal
Solomon,
that yeah, and
and
it's just like
she's like,
she's just like, that's where you've been, you naughty boy. And the
"I
dog's
guess it's
just
time to
basically
stop
like,
the war."
yeah, the dog's just like, all right, I'm gonna go with my new family now. Peace.
Yeah,
Love
the
that
dog
dog.
pretty much gave up, or maybe he's just keeping an eye on Howl to make sure because Solomon does have a history with Howl.
Yeah,
Solomon was one of his
but the
educators,
whole
and
thing is that even the witch admitted that that dog was going off with them now.
Rook, go potty. Go on, Rook.
That's how that ends. The dog chooses to go with them than rather than return to her.
Yeah, and
So
then Calcifer was freed because Sophie broke the
yeah,
curse that
she
was
broke the
binding the.
curse by putting the heart back in, and
Yeah,
Calcifer
putting.
returned to his star form.
Yeah, he was little magic star boy floating around,
Yeah,
and then he came back to them anyway because
I
he missed
well, because
them.
he's like, I missed you, and it looks like it's gonna rain. And it's just,
Yeah,
but
he's Calcifer's the greatest. We love Calcifer,
but
and
like
Howl is Eternal Daddy, and
everything paid off though. That's my
they
point.
get
Everything
Howl's
pays off
flying
at the end.
castle
Yeah,
then, and
new moving castle.
Howl's flying castle then, and it's happily
Yeah,
ever
because it
after.
flies.
And
Yeah,
honestly, the
it's
best kind of happily ever after you can get from a movie like
but
this, because this movie has
yeah,
some dark moments,
like
and it's great,
yeah, it has dark moments, it has light moments, it has character development, it has
very funny.
it has everything. In all honesty, this movie could just be summed up with, it's fucking Hell's Moving Castle. It's goddamn amazing. Why the fuck aren't you watching it?
Watch it. You
Done.
gotta watch it.
That like that's the review. We could have just that could have been the entire review. That's all we needed to say. It's fucking Hell's Moving Castle. Watch it. Done. It's Ghibli at its Ghibliest. It's character development actually done
Is this
well.
your favorite Ghibli movie as well?
No, it's my second favorite. My favorite is Spirited Away.
Oh, Spirited Away is really good too. Spirited
Yeah.
Away is really
And
good too.
there's a lot of my friends, if they rank Ghibli films, it's Spirited Away and then Howl's Moving Castle, because these always deserve to be at least in the top 3. They're fantastic. They're both
Yes,
great
yes.
movies. But yeah, Howl's Moving Castle is my second favorite Ghibli film, and it deserves the position.
Hmm.
If it's someone's number one, it does deserve the position. It is that good. It's not just a good anime film. It is a good film. The structure, the
Period.
style, the story, the fact that every lesson within the movie is timeless. You know,
And I
it's
guess there's some books that the movie was loosely based off of
yeah,
that my niece read, and she said they're very different, but they're still very good. I
yeah,
intend to actually read those books myself because I do love the world. And but if you want to check them out, look it up. I
yeah,
don't remember the name of the author at this point in time, but a quick Google search will solve that for you.
yeah.
But
But just like I love the timeless lessons. The lesson of like it's not it's it's against war, it's against pointless killing, it's against turning yourself into like the lesson of like war turns everyone into monsters. That's just how it is. The
yeah,
lesson of like being self-assured, self-reliant, being selfless and caring for others above yourself. Like, these are all life lessons that go beyond time. This movie was made, a long time ago now, but it still holds up. All of the lessons still hold up. And that's the
Mhm.
sign of a really great movie.
It's
That when you
timeless. It's gonna be
Yeah, it
timeless
is
forever.
it
And that's
because
one
it's
thing
not
that
it's set in a time period that's a real
animation
time.
movies have over live action movies. That can
They
be a
can
discussion.
be
They can
yeah.
really be timeless. You can watch this and be like, oh yeah, this still looks good. Even 20,
Well,
30 years later, it still looks
yeah.
like a good movie. It's still, you
Yeah.
know,
And I mean they managed to make a moving castle using 2D art. So, anime companies
and
take note.
honestly, it's amazing. It's
Yeah,
the
it looks
animation
great.
amazing, the sound's amazing, the music is amazing, the story's amazing. It is my favorite Ghibli movie, so I guess I'm a little bit biased. And
Do
look,
we need to give it
yeah, what are
how
we gonna?
many
What's our rating system for this one?
how many goopy wizards?
Goopy Wizards? No, we use Goopy
Yeah.
Wizards already. We use
I
Goopy
like
Wizards.
goopy wizards, but
Oh,
fine.
how about
Fine.
uh burnt bacon? Because one of my favorite lines is
My
calcifer.
may your bacon forever be burnt.
Because
How
when
many
he forced
calcifers?
to, yeah, how many calcifers out of 10?
How many
10
hungry
calcifers.
calcifers? Yeah. Oh
Whatever
no,
it is, whatever our
it's
rating
10
is,
hungry
10,
calcifers.
10 out
Oh,
of
it's
10.
100%.
10.
Yeah,
10.
it has to
Just
be. There's no
like
flaw. The
even
movie
though
has no
like
flaw.
I was telling DC that there's a lot of but it really isn't. I just want to know more about the world.
Yeah, there's no unanswered
I
questions.
want more of this world. I want to know what
Everything.
the prince is gonna do when he comes back, and but it is a perfect ending. Like
Yeah, it does.
as
That's what
opposed
I
to
mean.
Death
It doesn't
Parade, which
need.
we discussed. Like I wanted more. That was a good ending, and
I
I'm okay.
disagree with you
I'm satisfied with
entirely.
that ending, but I would love more in that world. That one,
I that's
I almost demand more.
the problem is that
But Howl's is
when
like, yeah,
this is the no the thing is though that with both of these, with both House Moving Castle and Death Parade, the way it ends, anything beyond this will will just cheapen it because it ends on the exact right note. Like you
I'll
don't.
give you that for Howl's, but I would like to see more from Death Parade's world. But I'm not like mad. I'm
I
okay with
I
it.
don't want to see any more from Death Parade because it would just, like I said, it would just cheapen how it ended. That lesson, that moment, that beauty would be turned, like it wouldn't, nothing would ever match up to that. Nothing's ever going to beat
Yeah,
that. Just like with Hell's Moving Castle, nothing is going to live up to the ending of that movie. There can't be. It's a movie that can't have a sequel, which is why they didn't make one in like 20 years,
yeah.
because there's nothing you can do that'll live up to the lessons and the magic
There's
of
no
that
way to
movie.
improve that formula. It's
Yeah,
perfect.
exactly. You can't improve upon that. It's perfect the way it is. It's beautiful. 10 out of 10. You- Do I recommend it? Yeah. Of course I recommend it. It's Howl's Moving Castle.
Undoubtedly.
It's won awards for a reason. It's well
Yep,
deserved. It's won like 7 awards. It deserves all of them.
all of them. 100%. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it for this time because that's all we need to say. How's Moving Castle?
Yeah,
Fucking watch it. It just
yeah,
got
that's yeah, it's
he
all it
said.
needs. Howl's Moving Castle. Fucking watch it. Why aren't you already?
I mean,
Buy it on
hello.
DVD.
He says hello, by the
Yeah.
way. Oh,
Well,
apparently so does Vash. The spawn let the dogs in, and that means it's time for us to go.
see you
Thanks,
later,
everybody,
everybody. Thanks for being
watching.
here. Thanks for being our patrons. Thanks for
Thanks for
watching.
being through us through all the
Yeah.
seasons so far.
We'll
More
see
stuff
you
to
in
come. We
season
have a
3.
little break, and then we'll be
After
back.
this break, see you in season 3. Take care of
Thanks,
yourselves.
everybody. Bye bye.
Bye.